Hi, I'm Joe Harroz, president of the University of Oklahoma. I want to welcome you to our Conversations with the President. This platform gives me the chance to talk to some of the great people who make OU so special. Make sure you're subscribed to Conversations with the President, and you'll be the first to know when new episodes are released. Welcome to Conversations with the President. Here we are with a special summer edition. I hope everyone's having a great summer. We are just a few weeks away from students returning, and the place looks remarkably different. Coming over here, I was driving into the studio. This is our fancy place, the studio, and Adams Tower is now fully down. So the landscape looks different, and we're excited about the coming weeks. A lot has happened since the last podcast. Then a number of alumni events, and the only guaranteed applause line that I have at alumni events is when I reference the fact that Patty Gasso and I have now won 3 back-to-back-to-back national championships. So congratulations to the two of us and the team. I'm kidding. It's 100% Patty and the women. They're absolutely stunning, an incredible national story, and we could not be more proud of them. Also want to thank Randall Stevenson, who played double duty. For those of you who are devoted podcast listeners, Randall Stevenson was a past guest on this show. If you haven't listened to it yet, you should do it. He is incredibly insightful, had a lot to say about the role of higher education that's affordable and accessible, and what we see on the horizon for the workplace and the importance of the kind of degree and the kind of opportunities that you seek while you're at the university. He was also our commencement speaker and did a marvelous job. You can check that out if you have time as well. Finally, if you haven't already subscribed, which is hard to imagine as a percentage of the population that already has subscribed, if you've not subscribed, please do so. Would love to have you tuning in regularly for Conversations with the President. The conversation today to me is incredibly exciting, and it's one that was born really out of necessity. Our guest, who you'll hear from in just a second, is an expert in this field. I was not. And we're going to talk about the Polytechnic, this new school that we're standing up, this new enterprise that we're standing up. It came to my attention. I'd heard about a Polytech for years, didn't fully understand exactly what it did. But as I was traveling with the governor and with the leaders in the legislature and other leaders trying to attract businesses to Oklahoma, it seemed like at every moment it came down to this question of not is Oklahoma the right place, but are there enough individuals that are qualified to handle not just the engineering positions, the typical engineering disciplines that we think about, but the applied technology positions. And that really sparked this idea. And it brings us to our guest today, who's actually an OU alumnus, someone who has been here in several capacities, and would like to welcome Dr. Teri Reed to the show. Ordinarily, I love talking about individuals' backgrounds, but since you're an alumnus, I'd love for you to talk about just briefly your background and where you have been as a professor and the roles that you've had.
So I started here at the University of Oklahoma, and this is where I achieved my bachelor's degree, and then went on and spent 7 years in the oil fields down in Texas and around the country in various locations, and then got my MBA at night, which sparked a fire, went after a PhD, and then was recruited back to Oklahoma as my first faculty position in industrial and systems engineering, and was my first tenured home as well, and then went on to Purdue University, where the first Department of Engineering Education was formed, and I loved being a part of that first. And then went to Texas A&M, where I served as Assistant Vice Chancellor for Engineering Education across the system, which was also exciting and fun. So from there, I went to University of Cincinnati. It sounds like I move a lot. And then here, back home, where my parents live and where I have such great fond memories, and sooner born and sooner bred.
Yeah, absolutely love it. You and I share that in common, and I love that every time we're together, you have on, you're repping the crimson and doing it like only a true alumnus would, understanding the distinction in the reds. So, I know that you feel the same way. It's an honor to be here, or in your case, back here. And so, when did you start? And tell us a little bit about the role that you're in.
So I had the privilege of starting on March the 1st, and there had been a lot of work done prior to me arriving, but we hit the ground running, and our first program was literally before the Oklahoma regents first and the university regents. And so that was my first big meeting. And on from there, and our programs are now, our very first Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity came through on May the 29th. And we are just so pleased to continue down the path of hiring and developing new programs, additional programs, and building labs. And
Well, let's take a step back.
Okay.
So for a lot of people, they're like me, where I was about a year and a half ago. I didn't really know what a Polytech was. I'd heard about it. Tell us in your words what a Polytech is.
So the Polytech, as you already alluded to, is an old term. 1792 it was back in the L'École de Polytechnique in France, and excuse my accent, that's probably not correct, but it is
It's very similar to my French accent.
Yes. So it's been around a long time, but the 21st century Polytechnic is about applied high demand technologies and preparing workforce ready students in the applications of those.
Okay, that's a mouthful. So tell me, what kind of degrees are we going to offer? And the Polytechnic School will be up and running fully about this time next year, correct?
Correct.
Right, and it's located in Tulsa.
Located in Tulsa.
Yeah.
We open admissions on August the 1st for the Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity. We'll follow the cybersecurity program with a program in software development and integration, and then ethical AI. So we'll continue along these advanced computing areas, but we're also going to shift slightly into digital manufacturing and unmanned vehicles.
All right, so tell me about the kind of student, the kind of person that should be thinking about a Polytech degree.
Right. So persons who love to see how things are applied. They're hands-on. They don't mind getting dirty, and is not necessarily dirty in the dirt sense of the word, but into the way things are working, why and how to improve them. They have to be creative, they have to be agile, and willing to listen mainly to industry people, because we work most with industry and government on that applied side. How can we take these fundamental research, fundamental technologies, and apply them for the betterment of society?
Yeah. So if I'm thinking about getting my degree, and what kinds of jobs would I get if I pursued a degree in the Polytechnic?
Well, there's over 600 cyber jobs alone right now available in various areas of cybersecurity. There's also in the manufacturing area, we're moving into Industry 5.0, how we put the humans back into the manufacturing side. So manufacturing and energy, the energy technology is obviously moving forward in various ways. And this is your opportunity to learn those types of broader in tomorrow's technology is really what we'll focus on. For example, healthcare informatics. Healthcare and informatics are just such a key thing to keeping people healthy and for overall wellness. And so that's where you'll see opportunities for our Polytechnic students.
Yeah. So one of the questions that we get increasingly from students and their parents, and also obviously from our older students, is what kind of a job can I get after I receive this degree? Could you talk a bit about sort of the demand that's out there, the starting salary range, and what you think the future looks like for people that have a degree?
So we know that with STEM degrees, your career earnings are twice those without STEM degrees. This is true of a Polytechnic student as well. So you're looking at jobs that are network-based, that are computing-based, that are security-based, but also in the manufacturing area, how to be more effective and efficient. So those are the kinds of areas that we can see absolutely where people will be going. And the starting salaries, they're $70,000 and $80,000 today. We'll see what they are in a couple of years from now. But these are the high demand opportunities. There are 100 critical jobs that have been identified by Chancellor Garrett for the state of Oklahoma, and over 2/3 of those require some kind of a degree like the Polytechnic, and a lot of them are computing and data and analytically focused. That's where we are.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, we talk about the value of a degree, and oftentimes the conversation is around cost. But really what people are talking about is, at the end of that degree, what is my skill set and what is my marketability? with jobs starting in the $70,000 and $80,000 in this space, what is the demand outlook right now for these jobs?
High.
Yeah.
There's over 4.4 million in the world, and just in computing and information technology alone. In the state of Oklahoma, we expect at least a 16% growth just within the state. And if you go regionally, the growth is even higher. So we are in a high demand, high need area that will increase the social mobility of our state's citizenry.
Yeah, it's amazing when you just think about it from, let's put aside the incredible lifelong earning potential. We know that a typical college graduate will make 1.4 million 1.4 million more than someone that doesn't have a 4-year degree. These are STEM-based jobs that carry a multiplier of 2 times that. It's pretty stunning what that is. You look at the University of Oklahoma and what its charges and what the students come out with. 55% of our students graduate with no debt. Of those 45% that do, the average debt is around $30,000 total. And we're talking about jobs that pay $70,000, $80,000 starting. It's a remarkable, really sort of business proposition in a lot of ways, isn't it?
Absolutely. The lower debt, as well as that high earning potential, but also the interest the industry has. The ability to get a job is just without question, because we have people. I remember walking out of our OU Regents meeting and being asked, can we not start today?
Right.
Why can't we have these people now? And that's almost every company and entity that we visit with, that's their question. And actually, in some ways, it was the state's question whenever they supported starting the Polytechnic as well. How fast can we get there? And fortunately, we're going to get there relatively fast with a 2-year with completion degree and building on what people have already started. So that's our goal. Hopefully we'll get people into that workforce and filling these open and these gap jobs as fast as we can.
Yeah, and so, it's interesting. When you talk about this, people often conflate a Polytechnic with the School of Engineering. Mm-hmm. And the reality is that they're different. And I think it's so fascinating. And you did, in your bio, you did an okay job of describing yourself, but you're truly a leader at the forefront of engineering education and applied technology education. These are not engineering jobs. They're not for example, you are a chemical engineer by training. You are, I guess you're actually petroleum engineering by training, and you've taught in the area of chemical engineering in these areas. But this isn't quite that, is it? It's not engineering.
This is not. So I like to say that what these jobs do is they're the interpreters. So engineering is very theoretical, and whereas what we do in the Polytechnic is we will take that theory and apply it into everyday language so that it becomes the interpreter between what the technology is and what it can do for the customers. And so that's why industry is so interested in what we're doing, because they really are the customers and they need this technology to work for them. We always want to be ahead in our research and in these theoretical areas, but we also need to understand how to apply them. That's where we're going to fit in.
Yeah. And this is the part that I learned about when we were, when I was going with the governor, with the pro tem and the speaker to go recruit these companies from out of state and globally to come to Oklahoma. And Northeast Oklahoma is a hot spot with the Mid-America Industrial Park and all it has to offer. And we've been really close on a few of these really big companies. And what I've been fascinated is in the conversations, when you really get down to it, we know they need more engineers, and the state's investing heavily in that, and we're producing more and more engineers. But I just found it fascinating that these applied technology jobs are the ones that are the make or break for whether they come to a state or a region, because if they can't fill those, they cannot carry on their business. Is that a fair assessment?
That's a fair assessment. And that not only do these students, will they understand the technical side, but they'll understand the social side and how these things work together to actually make them successful for companies and government alike. We've seen examples, for example, Google, who's one of our great supporters. They've actually just announced they're expanding their data center in northeastern Oklahoma. It'll be the largest data center they have in the nation.
Isn't that amazing? People don't realize that it will become the largest data center for Google in the nation. Yeah, it's a big point. And one of the thoughts I had is we were trying to attract new business. We knew that we needed to have more of these jobs. But even without new enterprises, we don't have a sufficient number of these applied technology graduates to meet the needs of businesses in Oklahoma today.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's why there's those 600 cybersecurity jobs right here in the state already. And that's without these new businesses. So we have a gap to fill, and that's our goal.
Yeah. And the George Kaiser Family Foundation is helping us out. You carry the chair in that name. Tell us about applications to open here in a few weeks. And the first class will start a year from next month. Tell us about the first degrees and the kind of faculty that will be a part of this.
So we're in the midst of hiring faculty as well as recruiting students. And those first degrees, we will be a student-ready college, much like OU strives to be a student-ready institution. And so we're looking for faculty that are of that mindset, that are entrepreneurs who are willing to participate in a startup, because we're a new entity, a new college that just needs that type of outreach mindset, that is willing to figure out where students are, but also to listen to industry. So we need listeners and people who can stay cutting edge. So listen to industry as to where we're going, because that has to be incorporated into our curriculum. Our curriculum will be lab-based in real-world applications. Those have to be achieved with our relationships with industry. So we need faculty who are open to this applied type of learning, how to help students learn in this applied environment, as well as continue their learning so that they can keep up. Half-life of technology right now, it's 2 years.
Yeah.
You got to keep
amazing?
up.
Yeah, and if you get one of these, if you go through, you get a degree like this, the jobs are in high demand. When the jobs change, which they invariably will, how does this degree help you?
So the idea of the lifelong learning and the ability to learn how to learn is key, because we know that with that kind of half-life, that you're always learning new technology, and you have to teach other people and interpret that new technology is our role. So how do we keep up? How do we keep, and that's the lifelong learning, how do we keep them also engaged with us, where they want to come back and learn more with upskilling and reskilling, because this is the way of the world. And this is how we're going to stay relevant, is by making those close partnerships with industry, keeping our faculty up to date, and therefore as our students come through, we're keeping them up to date.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredibly exciting. Our provost, Andre Denis Wright, has been a big advocate of this, works directly with you. You mentioned that part of your professional history involves Purdue, a past guest of ours, right? Our VP for research and partnerships has walked through and alluded to, and we spoke briefly about what this could be. But let's just talk about where Purdue has a Polytech. How big has it grown, and what is its impact as an example of what we can become?
It's absolutely the largest in the United States, and they are on the cutting edge of curriculum. They've learned this agility, and they're a great group to aspire to. They've been very supportive of us, and we're hoping to follow their lead and to continue to learn from things like they've started this great new program in smart manufacturing. We love to watch how they're going and see. That's probably an area that's going to be very interesting to us as well.
Yeah. How many students do they have right now?
I believe they're at over 6,000.
Yeah. I mean, it's a stunning number.
It's huge.
All right. So as a parent who has a son right now in college, very attracted by the $70,000 to $80,000 starting salary, that gets them off of your dole quicker, definitely more quickly. Tell us about what students can apply right now. And the kind of degrees, undergraduate and graduate, you'll be offering.
So we are what they call in academia a completion program. So that means, our little jargon means that we offer junior and senior classes. So students who have completed the first 2 years and importantly an associate's degree and are willing to come to Tulsa, because we are an in-person program, then we are interested in them, and their interest is cybersecurity, something data analytics, something that is in this future technology area, that's who we're looking for. So we've already had students knock on our door and come meet with us. And the Tulsa area has a very high percent of persons that already have associate's degrees. We'll be reaching out, recruiting those people, but as well as beyond that part of the state. So it is, because we're a completion program, they have to have achieved those first 2 years.
Yeah, so whether it's an associate's program or whether it's your first 2 years of college, you're eligible to apply to this program if you finish 2 years of college or its equivalent. And then you do years 3 and 4, and we're going to have graduate programs as well.
Exactly. We're going to be adding the master's programs as we build this on the fly, and it is going to be an exciting time. Students will they need to be making a decision right now. They're already through 1 year of college. They need to be thinking right now, well, what do I want to do after my second year of college? So it's timely, and there's it's an exciting group of people who are interested in us.
Yeah. It really is. I was just talking with Provost Wright today over lunch, and the hot topic for all of us right now is, what in the world do you do with generative AI, and how does that change? How does generative artificial intelligence affect the workplace? And I keep coming back to the idea that this Polytech is sort of the ultimate haven for taking the technologies that are emerging, and those that even haven't emerged yet but are on somewhere out there, and being in that position to have the skills to not just understand them, but to be someone on the leading edge of applying those to business.
Right. And that's the important part. That's why we're looking at things like ethical AI. We have to make these things safer, and where our understand how the intended and the unintended consequences, and work with other people, industry, but even academia has to understand what this means.
Yeah.
In the classroom. Exactly.
Yeah.
So just attended a great session on ChatGPT and tutoring. These things are here to stay.
They are.
So
and it's a fundamental moment of disruptive change. And whatever area you are in, from the arts to engineering, it's going to, it is impacting us right now and will forever. And you talked about, this is an in-person program. And just to kind of reinforce the point, it's in person because the way that you learn at a Polytech is hands-on, correct? It takes the theoretical engineering components and applies that use of technology in a workplace setting in a way that has direct and immediate value to the employer and to what you're making.
Right. There will be things that are virtual, obviously. Our cyber range will be partially virtual and things like this. But the laboratory, the learning will be hands-on in person, as well as this hybrid kind of area of how do we prepare for tomorrow when we know all the changes that have already happened today.
Yeah. And those changes that we know have been made, but we aren't sure what the implications of those changes are.
Right.
Yeah. As a former law school dean, it makes your mind wander very quickly, right? To get your head around what does machine learning mean for these professions, and the folks at the fore of this are in the Polytech. Yeah,
and so the ones who are agile and creative, that they're the ones who are going to be robot proof. There's a great book called Robot Proof, and they're the ones who will come out of this, because the critical thinking piece, which is, for years been a mantra of higher education, but we have to stick to that. And that's what actually I've had a nice conversation with the CIO of Quick Trip about, this critical thinking piece. How do we instill this and keep this going with our employees as well as our students?
Yeah.
So this is where we're going, and we will have opportunities in the future. We're not going away. We're not going to be replaced, but we are going to have to think at higher levels and be able to integrate and have this systems mindset.
Yeah. It's fascinating. When I first started looking at the Polytech and the concept of it, people were dumbing it down for me, which I take as eminently flattering. And they were saying it's sort of at the intersection between engineering and business, which I think is way too simple of an education, of an explanation. But I do think it helps to think about what kind of person might be interested in this, because if you take as a given, which I think is only fair and has become much more pronounced, that technology and advances in artificial intelligence are going to be an absolute reality of the workplace, of any work setting. The idea of doing business and not having that technical background or an understanding of it creates a challenge. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so if this is that space that lives between traditional business and traditional engineering, it creates a fascinating opportunity. I think it really opens up the profile of students that might be interested in doing this.
Absolutely, because it is so creative, and it has that interpretive requirement. Really, that means that students and that our graduates will be looking more at systems wide and thinking, what are the integral pieces that make up that system, and then how can we improve them?
Yeah.
So this is it's a higher level thinking that is it's irreplaceable, quite frankly, and that agility. So you've got to have that agility so that you're able to keep up and make these pivots as life happens, because life, there's lots of things about life, but these days life is going to bring you pivots.
Yes,
Get ready.
Will. And at a rate of change we've never seen before.
Right.
I mean, when you talk about the shelf life of 2 years, what was that number 2 decades ago?
I still remember recruiting students. I've been responsible for recruiting students for many years, and I used to tell them that this has been about 10, 12 years ago. The half-life back then was 4 to 6 years. Mm-hmm. And so whatever we taught them as a first-year student most likely was going to be obsolete by the time that they graduated 4 years later. So now we're talking 2 years.
Yeah.
And so it's just more important that you have to learn how to learn. You've got that inquisitiveness and that ability to be agile and make those changes.
Yeah, and that's really the point. I mean, is it not that the degree itself is obsolete, but the specific application has
Mm-hmm.
become obsolete, and so those critical thinking skills that you learn, in this case also your proficiency with existing technology, lets you know the language and have the ability to discern and work your way through that next evolutionary state.
Right. I mean, we talk about two things in higher ed: fluency,
right,
and the ability to take what you've learned really kind of in a setting, which our setting is going to be very applied and hands-on, which is the experiential setting we know is the best setting as far as learning goes. So experiential. So can you take that fluency to move what you have done in the classroom right into the workspace? And that's why our goal is those work-ready students. And then there are the fundamentals. Can you make a decision between, you've got 20 possible solutions. How are you going to get down to the 2 best? And what does best mean?
Yeah.
Those are the things that we're going to teach our students. And those are the things that will differentiate them and make them successful.
Yeah, and this is the conversation that we hear a lot from people at the state capitol. We hear a lot from parents, this idea of, if I do this program, will this individual be workforce ready? And these individuals, when they graduate, that's exactly what they are, correct?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because they've done their projects in their labs and their senior designs, they came from the workforce.
Yeah.
And these are problems, these are real problems. These aren't just people sitting around thinking, oh, well, we could give that to a student. These are real problems that people need solutions to.
Yeah.
And that's what they will be. That's how their experiential learning will go.
Yeah. The first time we took this to the state capitol, the person that joined us was the new CEO of Bank of Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And he was saying, look, I understand you're trying to attract new businesses to the state, but right now in our state, we have these needs and we cannot hire enough people to fill these positions, like in areas of cybersecurity. So, to me, it's incredibly exciting. What do you think the size of this school will be, and what do you think its impact will be on the workforce of Northeast Oklahoma and the state and the region?
So our goal is within 6 years that we will be up to 600 students. Then that's both junior, senior, undergrads, as well as graduate students, and that we will be graduating 200 graduates a year with one of those upcoming degrees.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just an incredibly exciting moment.
It is.
So here you are, you've done all these amazing things. You're an OU alumnus. You've been a tenured professor here. We've let you go somewhere else, and now you're back home. What are you most excited about in being the leader of this new school?
I love to create, and I like to listen and create things that fulfill a need. And so to do something for number one, for my alma mater, but also for my home state is really exciting. And I have friends that are even around the area in Arkansas and Texas and Kansas and kind of around our area. They're excited as well. So it's a way to have a positive influence on the future. I heard a quote the other day that you're only as good as the next thing that you do. So we were only as good. I've got to keep doing and creating. And this is exciting because you can see the need. I can't tell you, every time I sit down at a meeting with a company or someone from our state government, the need is just palpable. And they are adamant and excited. Yeah. And the partnerships, for example, with Tulsa Community College and the Tulsa Higher Education Consortium, they are so excited about us doing this and so supportive. And so whenever you have these partnerships, the Tulsa Innovation Labs, these partnerships that are supportive and sending you these great connections and opportunities, it makes it where it's fun to get up in the morning and go to work.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It's the ultimate intersection of business and education. And we talk about our purpose at OU as we change lives, and it clearly impacts and will change the lives of the students that go through this program, go through the Polytech school for OU up in Tulsa. And it's going to impact the state and the region in a fundamental way. And I think that under your leadership, I know what's being done here is really special. And I'll make a prediction that 6 years from now, you're way ahead of those projections because it's the right opportunity for our state at the right time. I think it's going to transform Northeast Oklahoma and the state. I think we'll see students from across the country. Students are becoming more understanding the value proposition, and the value proposition around an education at OU Polytech is a stunning one. So as we wrap this up, anything we didn't talk about, or any thoughts or comments that you have that we should cover before we wrap up this show?
I'm just looking to hear what other people think we should be doing, what their needs are. And so I look forward to talking to more people around the state and being a part of what's coming up for us, because I think as an institution, as a state, we're really in a great place. I'm proud to be a Sooner.
I know. I love it. Both of you and I are absolutely beyond blessed to be born and raised Sooners. Both of us educated here and working here, and it creates a special light inside of you. So we're thrilled that you're here. I can't wait to see what you are going to accomplish with the school. It is important, and it's going to make a profound impact. So thank you, Dr. Teri Reed, for being an example for all of us that are part of the Sooner Nation, and thank you for your leadership. It's going to be remarkably exciting. We want to thank everyone for listening today. If you haven't already, please do subscribe. Make sure that all future episodes you're here as well, and look forward to welcoming you to our next Conversations with the President. Thank you.